Ready Check Radio.
Stand by as we get ready to serve up all your news this week in the world of gaming. Welcome to Gaming Gumbo. Why, hello, everybody. It's Saturday. It's 7 p.m. Eastern. That means it's time for Gaming Gumbo here on Ready Check Radio. Thank you for stopping by. Much appreciated. We're doing the show live like we always are, but you can check out all of the episodes of Gaming Gumbo and the Relic Grind and the hiatus Snowbound show right now on ReadyCheckRadio.com websites right on the screen there. ReadyCheck Radio, RAIDEO. If you're watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify, Audible, iTunes, all the other places you can get this, thank you so much. Take a moment, give us a like, give us a subscribe, a follow, whatever it is on that particular service, and we'll make it easy for you. The website has all the socials. Go follow them all. We are closing in on some important milestones across most of the different channels, so help us out. If you like what we do, it's the easiest, fastest, and freest way to support us. We were gone last week, unexpectedly, had to take off, came down with the Rona, Friday night into Saturday morning. Alexander Ovechkin leaving Jason's neck of the woods, coming up here to Pittsburgh. I go to see the game with my daughter and end up with the Rona. But we're doing well now. Thank you for all those that kept asking throughout the week how I was doing. It's much appreciated. It's very, very kind of you. But we're back. We're going to cover most stuff that happened this week, but there are one or two things that I do want to get the panel's opinion on from last week, even though it might be a little bit older as far as the news goes. Joining me to go through all that news, the one, the only, Mr. Jason Winter.
So let's see. I'm thinking today we got Ninja Panda's grandmother.
Yes, Ninja Panda's grandmother's turned 89. We now have detailed descriptions of everybody in chat's current hair status.
I was going to say Abraham Lincoln, also his birthday today.
Abraham Lincoln, also February 12th. Yeah.
Is anybody else with a birthday today that you can think of, Mike?
No. Also on the line, resident artist from Ready Check Radio, Yod. How are you, sir?
That was a nice little segue. No.
How you been, sir? You got a weekend off unexpectedly. Did you use it wisely?
I did not. I sat around. I played Final Fantasy. I caught up on dailies on Destiny for the upcoming Witch Queen expansion and
Well, I mean, that sounds like using it wisely.
Not really, no. I mean, I've been meaning to do an image for Valentine's Day because I've been trying to, keep the skills loose with doing, stuff other than our wonderful graphics on the channel. But,
right.
just keeping the hand loose. And I meant to do a Valentine's Day one, and I just slacked off for 2 weeks because we didn't have a Gaming Gumbo.
You still have 2 days. So maybe you could get that in.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
I always keep the hand loose.
And you buy yourself chocolates.
My Valentine's Day gift to myself. Oh, yeah.
And you buy yourself chocolates. All right, let's get through all the news here. And chat, you can let us know what you think live. We'll share your thoughts on the show as well. First up, big news this week. We had Nintendo Direct. The most recent Nintendo Direct was this week. Obviously, we're not going to talk about every game, guys, but our thoughts on some of them and the show in general. I gotta say, I thought it was a banging Nintendo Direct. I thought they were just like bam, 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 right after another with some great stuff. Now, that doesn't mean there weren't some noticeable misses that I'm surprised that we didn't see, but we'll talk about that in a minute. I know some people were just like really disappointed in this Nintendo Direct. I think that's because one particular title was not talked about at all.
They're going to be hating it every time until Nintendo showcase until they show it off.
It wasn't because of Kirby?
Yeah, it was not because of Kirby. But honestly, I thought they did a great job with it. Obviously, Jason, I'm sure a lot of that has to do with I'm quite a fan of many of the things they showed. It also could have been just like a Square Enix showcase. because so many of the titles were Square Enix related. But I thought they did a wonderful job. I loved the Direct. I had to go back and watch the replay a little later because I couldn't catch it live, but it was like 2 thumbs up for me. I enjoyed it.
I watched it and I wasn't bored, so it's
wow, that's like 9.5 out of 10 right there. If
I
Jason
was Switch.
Yeah, that's impressive that it entertained Jason.
Like a few parts of it got a little boring, but for the most part, I wasn't like checking like, God, is it over yet? Oh my God, another game. Oh,
Yad, what'd you think?
It was fun. Yeah, it was entertaining. I mean, once again, I'm not the big Nintendo guy in the household. That that goes to the wife over there and with her Nintendo Switch next to her laptop.
Well, here, like give her that headset, have her sit down. You go do whatever you need to catch. Go draw something for Valentine's Day. Put her in your seat, and we'll talk Nintendo Direct with her. It was a good show. I thought so. Yeah, the big miss. Breath of the Wild 2.
Right.
Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 not mentioned in any way, shape, or form. And I'm beginning to think it's a little weird. Am I the only one that remembers that we were teased that we were going to hear something about that in 2021? And now we still have nothing on it yet. Like early in 2021, I thought we got a tease that we were going to hear about it in late 2021, didn't we?
Much like with birthdays, these last 2 years don't count. So...
So yeah, no Breath of the Wild, but there was Kirby. There was Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
There was some interesting Kirby there.
Eating the car.
Kirby full mouth option.
Kirby. Yeah, people having fun with those memes already. Oh my God.
Oh good lord.
Oh my God.
Oh good lord.
I mean, Kirby, seeing a new Kirby is always good, but I mean, hell. I mean, this is what it's all about right here, right? This is what it's absolutely all about.
Kirby sucking things in.
We're seeing Wii Sports make its return on the Switch as Nintendo Switch Sports with a few new sports options, including everybody's favorite, badminton.
This was one of the ones that I thought was boring.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have the same panache that it did with the motion controller on the Wii because it's not new anymore, right?
Right.
The novelty.
Almost like motion controllers was a fad.
Plus
Excuse me.
the Switch controllers don't have the heft that the Wiimotes did.
Yeah, the
for when you
Joy-Cons
chuck them at that
absolutely
screen,
do not.
They just bounce off these days. They don't go through it.
Yeah, this looks like Rocket League right here. I think this is a little Rocket League. I could get behind that.
Rocket League, but slower.
Yeah, Rocket League.
Guys, people love Rocket League, but what if we made it slower?
Yeah, well, that's what being silver is in Rocket League. It's a very slow game. Yeah, this was kind of neat to see. I was like, oh, that's cute, but I think it was more of a Jason. You're right. It was more of like almost a nostalgia thing where it was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'll probably play it for half an hour, 40 minutes, and occasionally when all the brothers are over.
The funny thing I almost feel myself saying is when I like this to be like an open world kind of thing where I can just, because I like the stadium and everything. That's all very pretty, and I just want to walk around and watch people play.
Yeah, so you're right, dude. I wish they would have.
Look at that stadium. Look at all that stuff.
It would have been cool if that was more like Everybody's Golf, the most recent Everybody's Golf, where it is just like run around if you want to.
So
I agree.
you want Switch Sports at the MMO?
Yeah, open world Switch Sports, something like that. Yeah.
Nintendo MMO Switch Sports. Something like that.
I mean, that would be really interesting, but that would also be like a whole new setup thing.
No, it's not. Riders Republic already does it. Forza does it, Jason.
Forza's tough though, because you're always going to be in your car and you can't really interact with other people. And it's,
right, but the concept is the thing. The events are all over the map, and you just go all over the map wherever you want. So, and we've done it before in other games. So yeah, why not? I agree with you, Jason. That's a good call. Good call. No Man's Sky coming to the Switch this summer. I know a lot of people are looking forward to that one. That's a game that's just like, you know what? Maybe every once in a while, if you launch really badly, you can save them, but. Don't bank on that as a developer. Do not bank on that as a developer. Advance Wars 1 and 2 reboot camp. Absolutely. Mario Strikers Battle League. I buy all the Mario sports. I'm a sucker for them. What are some of the, before we get into like the Square Enix ones, which we'll touch on here, but if you want more details, obviously we went in depth this Thursday on the Relic grind with those. Jason, what were some of your highlights from the show overall?
The Square stuff was the only stuff I found.
Oh, really? Yeah, then go for it. We can do
I
it now. That's
agree.
fine.
I've had the opening theme for Chrono Cross running through my head for the last 2 days.
Oh, Scars of Time is such a
Can't get it
beautiful
out
song.
of my head.
Such a
It's
beautiful
like, I'd be
song.
interested to see if I had a Switch. I'd be interested to see what it's like. 'Cause I remember really actually disliking Chrono Cross in a lot of ways, just in terms of the gameplay. I seem to remember managing your spells and having to make sure everything was in the right order was a real pain in the ass. I hope they maybe
Well,
change
you don't
that
have
bit.
to get a Switch for that one. That one is going to be PS4, Steam, the other stuff as well. The Chrono Cross remaster. So you
See
can
what it's
grab
like
it on
when
Steam
Virtual
if you want.
Remaster does. See if I'm that interested in it.
I just hope they don't like. I hope it's like they don't screw it up like they did the Chrono Trigger port to Steam.
Ooh.
Because I am excited about it, and there is the whole text-based adventure coming with it that was never released here, so that's kind of neat if you're just into the lore aspect of Chrono Cross. But yeah, I saw that, Jason, and I got very, very happy. I actually really liked Chrono Cross and thought the combat system was incredibly unique at the time and very cool. So I'm looking forward to it, and it is one of the best soundtracks in gaming. Was some of the other Square stuff? Is that like all Jason wanted? Was all the Square stuff?
Oh, it, yeah. I'm just looking over the rest of it. Blah, 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 blah.
Did you ever play Live Alive? I'm
I
really.
never heard of Live Alive before 2 days ago.
Oh
Me
man,
neither.
I got the chance to play that probably like a year or two ago because it was never released here. That's tremendous. And if you like the art in like the Mana series, or if thinking back to Chrono Trigger, there's names behind the music and the directorial debut of some of the Square Enix classics. I'm so glad Square just kind of like, I don't know. They were like, hey, we know how to do new games and get you to buy our old games, and we can do it both at the same time.
You know what they need? You know what they need? They need a Parasite Eve remake.
100%.
They really, really do.
100%. 100%. Triangle Strategy, speaking of Square, has a demo out now, and you can carry the save data over. They've done that with some previous games. Metroid Dread got 2 new difficulty modes. They're free, and a boss rush is coming in April. I still haven't beaten that. I was playing it a couple of days ago, but I still haven't beaten it. Non-Square Enix, Earthbound and Earthbound Beginnings coming to Nintendo Switch Online. The service is already there, but no Mother 3 yet. No Mother 3. They have to be doing a Mother 3 at this point, right? Why bring Mother 1 and 2 back? Like I don't know.
Just squeeze more money out of it?
Yeah, well, I guess so. I guess so. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe getting a ton of new content. And then they ended the show with Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I love Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I love 1 more than 2. But both were good. I can't wait to see what they do with 3 here.
I do enjoy the artwork from Xenoblade. They do some really nice stuff.
I could see that being right up your alley.
Mm.
Right. Have you ever played them?
A long time ago, but not enough that, it's the gameplay sticks in my head.
Right.
The artwork really sticks in my head, but the gameplay really doesn't.
Anything in the Nintendo Direct, Jason, that you are, you know what? I'm going to day one purchase that.
Again, I don't have a Switch, but
Well, not all of this was just on Switch. They just make their trailers say that. Some of it is Switch exclusive, but a lot, like Chrono Cross, is not.
yeah.
It is on other stuff. So
I mean, it would require me to not a day one. I want to see how stuff is going to go before I buy something like the Chrono Cross remake.
all right, well, that is definitely going to be a day one for me, so you can watch me stream it and see if you like things. Fraycore wants a Brave Fencer Musashi remake. I do.
Ooh,
Brave Fencer Musashi's a blast.
that was a good one.
That's a blast. It was a good show. Good show. Well done.
Wasn't
But-
Chrono Cross one of those games that were leaked but not leaked in that Nvidia thing?
Yeah.
It was. It was.
So we
We've
got
seen
another one.
Yeah,
do
we've
we-
seen a
do we still
couple
have
of
a-
them.
Do we still have a running tally on which ones are
Yeah, which ones were just fake placeholders?
right? Placeholders.
Fake placeholders. So thumbs up on the Nintendo Direct. Let us know in the comments anything that you are really looking forward to. I know my wife's going to be looking forward to Kirby, of course. So this was on the show for last week, and I kept it on for this week because Yod, one, it's big news, and Yod, you are such a Destiny 2 guy. I couldn't not you skip this. Yeah, I needed to give you a shot to talk about this one a little bit. Sony has purchased Bungie, kind of not in response to Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard, because this deal's been in the works for months too. But the acquisitions continue. Things consolidate a little more. Initial things that we should note about this sale. Jason, how much was it again? I don't remember off the top of my head.
Wasn't it like half of Bethesda?
360. Yeah, three. Thank
well,
you.
I really legit remember. Yeah, 3.6. Yeah.
3.6 billion. That's half of Bethesda.
That is half of Bethesda. Yeah.
They have come out and said that they plan to keep Destiny 2 crossplay. About a third of that 3.6 million or billion, 1.2 billion is being used to basically retain staff. They're making sure.
Is really cool.
Right? Like a third of the sale price is like, stay. Don't go anywhere. Come with us.
Right.
Obviously, they're not buying Destiny 2. That's not the reason they bought the company. They're buying the community behind Destiny 2.
Right.
I mean, there's like 800,000 people at any given moment playing Destiny 2 across all platforms. And Sony has said, hey, we want to make like 10 new live service games over the next 4 years. Bungie's working on an unannounced title, which is probably going to be one of them. But they're really interested in Bungie's ability to manage a network and a community for those types of live service games. Jason and I kind of agreed on the Always Online podcast last week when we did that you know what, you might not like certain things that they do with Destiny 2, but one of the things you never really complain a lot about when it comes to Bungie is the network and the systems and the matchmaking and stuff. They seem to have a good rap on that. As a Destiny 2 fan, though, when you saw this, were you happy? Were you sad? Were you confused? What was like your gut reaction? And then after you had some time to see them confirming it was still going to be cross-platform and putting a ton of money into the people behind it at Bungie, did you change your opinion a little bit? I mean, you are Destiny 2 guru.
I expected them to keep it cross-platform because there's no reason not to, especially with games like Destiny 2 and like the live service type deal. The whole point of it is to play with your friends.
Right.
And the moment you can no longer play with your friends is the moment you stop playing. Because let's face it, Destiny 2 is my favorite game. I hate it. It's the content and stuff does get stale after a while. The grinding gets really grindy after a while. But if you have friends to play with, and if you can play with them no matter what platform they choose to do it on, you're going to keep playing.
Yeah.
I mean, I was about the point where I was done with most everything I wanted to grind out. I was, set with going into Witch Queen as I was. Then all of a sudden, one of my old clanmates, she reinstalls Destiny, and her boyfriend's like, hey, she reinstalled Destiny, because the two of us were still kind of playing, but it was just kind of like, whenever we could. But the moment that happened, I pull out one of the other characters I hadn't played because she's starting fresh, and he pulled out one of the other characters he hadn't played, and we all three of us started fresh with her so that we could grind her up to light level and get all the gear that she needed, because that's what you do on a game like that.
So everybody just whipped it out, is what you're saying.
Right, exactly. But the thing is, though, the two of them are on PS5, and I'm running on this sucker because it's faster than my PS4.
Yeah.
And we're playing together.
So, Jason, I wasn't surprised either to hear, we're going to keep Destiny 2 cross-platform. Well, yeah, I mean, you're kind of done at that point, and you didn't buy this for Destiny 2, but I do think it's the same thing we ask with Microsoft's acquisitions. Yeah, you've said you want to keep Call of Duty multi-platform. Yeah, you've said you're going to honor all the existing contracts, PS, because you have to, that Activision Blizzard might have with Sony. Do you see Destiny 3 or a potential, a futuristic hypothetical Destiny 3? Do you see that still going cross-platform, or is the grab here, we're buying the communities because we want these communities to be ours?
Well, for one thing, I don't see a Destiny 3 happening because I actually thought about this a while back. Like, we've never seen a 3 of an MMO, basically, ever.
Have we not?
Th- we
We've
really
seen lots of
haven't.
2s.
We really haven't.
EverQuest
Also,
2, Guild
in
Wars 2, Destiny 2,
unless something
Overwatch 2.
majorly changed with their game plan, we've seen like on a whiteboard where they had the game plan for a year set up, and
Well, they were
Destiny
going to do
3
4
is not in
Destinies.
sight. Yeah, the
Destiny
Destiny
4 should have
3.
come out 3 years ago, according to the
Right,
original
right,
plan.
but what the way they're handling seasons and stuff, and how they're vaulting some things and then bringing them back out, and so on and so forth. It's they're gonna keep going with Destiny 2 as long as they can, without a
So,
new game in sight.
chat chiming in on the threes. Halo 3 is not an MMO, so that
No,
doesn't
Yeah,
meet
yeah,
Jason's
MMOs
criteria.
only.
And
Yeah.
Lineage 3 isn't official. Like it's
No.
we
Yeah.
know it's being worked on,
right.
but it's also changed names multiple times throughout the whole thing. So
Mhm.
so does that count? Like if an MMO does like if it was Destiny Unchained?
If it's
Like
still, it
Mm,
has to be like basically the same thing. So it can't be like an ARPG version of it. So
right, right. It has to be an
'cause it's like,
actual continuation to the game without needing that game to be installed.
here's how I think it goes. They come up with a cool idea, Guild Wars or Destiny or whatever,
Right.
and they do it, and it gets a lot of positive results. But then they're like, that was all right, but we're gonna learn what we did, or we're gonna take what we did from the last one and learn from it and make the sequel. And the sequel then takes all that, gets that old community, gets the
Mhm,
new ideas, and that's the big one, quote
mhm.
unquote, the one that sticks around, and they don't want to torch that community to make number 3. So
Right.
that's a
And
theory I've had for a while. And I haven't seen it. They tried EverQuest Next, but
yeah. Well, the other thing with Destiny and Destiny 2 was that one of the reasons they had to go to Destiny 2 instead of continuing on with Destiny was the original software that the original coding the game was built on in the original Destiny took forever for the developers to open on their computers. Like the program was so massive that they get to work in the morning, push the thing to open the program, then they go get their coffee, go get their breakfast, say their highs throughout the office and stuff, come back, sit there, wait for a little while, and then probably by lunchtime they get to do whatever patch they had to do. So with Destiny
so
2, they
we
had
got a little
to streamline.
sidetracked. Like
Right,
so
right,
yeah,
right.
the
yeah,
Okay,
next
yeah,
so yeah,
yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
the
Back to
next
your original
Destiny,
question.
yeah, the original question, does the
Um,
next Destiny-ish product or the
I
new
think
live service thing that they're working on or their new title that they're working on? I mean, you made this purchase because you wanted the community. You didn't
right.
want Destiny 2. I can't believe your future titles are also going to share this community.
It might though. There might be some exclusivity in like time wise, like they used to have with Destiny on PS4, where there was certain exotics or certain strikes, missions, or whatever, that were locked to PS4 for a year or whatever. But I can see them
Yeah,
opening it up.
I hate that. I think
Right,
I think timed exclusives on live service games.
right,
That I think that's dumb.
right. They have learned from that though. So I think it's just going to be cross platform. I mean, after all the money goes to Sony anyways. So
Right.
why you complain about it?
You agree, Jason, or do you see a Bungie product going exclusive to PlayStation platforms? Knowing, by the way, that I don't think the play here for PlayStation or for Sony is just PlayStation anymore, right? They're spinning up, bringing a lot of their titles to PC now, too. I
Right.
think that's just going to continue and grow and grow and grow. They're a little behind the curve, yes, but I think that's going to continue to grow. So the play, I don't think, is just make it PlayStation exclusive.
yeah,
It's make it Sony exclusive,
Right.
Sony on PC or Sony on
yeah.
PlayStation, a
And I
la.
do agree that not a live service game that would definitely not be exclusive. But I could see if they are
Right.
working on single player games, or they have 10 games or whatever in development supposedly, then
10
yeah,
live
maybe.
service games. They
Yeah,
have a
there's
lot
10
more
live
than
service
Did they
10.
say
Yeah.
live service games on
Yeah,
this?
that's
Yeah.
why I
Oh,
had
okay.
you write it up.
Well, that was like 2 weeks ago. This is old news. This is like 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago.
Jason was like, "Why am I writing up an article that somebody's working on 10 games over the next 4 years?"
Yeah.
Now I realize why you were asking, because it was
Yeah.
specifically 10 live service games.
But yeah, they're not gonna make 10 games.
By the way, we've got another buyer in companies here. Saudi Arabia purchased, like as in the country, purchased 5% of Capcom.
Mhm.
But
Just so
Saudi
you know.
Arabia's been doing that over the past few
They
years.
have, yeah. They've spent a value of $332 million at current stock prices to get 5% of Capcom. And then 5.02% in Nexon that they have is valued at about $883 million. Obviously, Monster Hunter and stuff like that's the biggest ones there. They've been doing this periodically over the last few years, using their public investment fund to start tapping into gaming companies. So I think that, do you think Saudi Arabia is like, yeah, somebody's buying Capcom. Let's buy in now. let's buy in now so that when Capcom, it'll be the fastest return on investment ever in the gaming industry. So
I mean, the
keep
prince
an eye on it.
is a big fan of video games, so
Yep.
Yeah, I think that has more to do with it than trying to cash out on video game companies.
No, I think honestly, I think that is the play here. I think that is that because I fully expect Capcom to be one of the companies that is at least attempted to be acquired here in the next 12 months. If those conversations aren't happening already.
But Capcom's a Japanese-led company.
Yeah, again, you have those challenges, the same
Right.
ones we talked about with Sega and Square Enix, where
Right.
it's extremely difficult for a Western
So,
company to buy
yeah,
a Japanese
which
company.
was Squaresoft and Enix, so it can happen.
Right, but
It
that was
can.
Japanese buying
Yeah,
Japanese.
That was
Yeah, I
Japanese
know.
by
That's what I'm saying.
Japanese.
Well, I think I can
Yeah.
see Capcom being bought by a Japanese company, maybe Sony. Who knows?
Oh yeah, it's definitely it's still challenging, but it's definitely a lot easier for like Sony to acquire than
Right.
Microsoft to acquire. No doubt.
Because they're still Japanese buying
Right.
Japanese.
Right. Which still has its own challenges more than American buying American.
Mhm.
We have regulations, they have more.
They have tradition.
and that too. And that too. And a lot more pride generally.
Right.
In America, we're just companies are just kind of like, I'm sorry, what's the price tag? That's all I really care about. What's
Right.
the okay, that'll work.
Yeah.
I mean, we already said Nintendo's just going to sit in the corner and be Nintendo, and that's exactly what they came out and said
Yeah.
they're going to do. So
They're Nintendo. They're
big MMO
yeah.
launch this week. MMO ARPG.
Crusader
if you're
Kings 3,
into
yep,
that.
big
Crusader
launch.
Kings 3. Jason, how's it been going?
It's been good. It's been good.
Have you been enjoying Crusader Kings 3? You want to talk about it for a minute? Go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's the expansion came out, and I've got the second best court in the whole world.
No, you don't.
I do. I really do.
As in, like, all the players in the
No,
Earth.
in my game. In my game, it's
Oh.
it's not actually an MMO, but it's fun.
Zach wants to know if it hit your concurrent player count prediction.
Not the last I saw. No, came up a little short. Zach predicted. Well, I predicted 75,000 for it, and I think it was like 63. Whereas Zach predicted 100. See, but the thing is now, that was closer. Yeah, 63 144. I predicted 75,000. Zach predicted 500,000 for his thing, and he was way off. So
Well, his thing is the other big launch this week, Lost Ark.
500K plus.
MMO,
whatever.
the MMORPG from Smilegate, been in the West and in other regions for many years now, finally making its way west. Care of Amazon Games Publishing House. Head Start started on Tuesday of this past week with free-to-play launch scheduled for yesterday afternoon. It turned into yesterday evening pretty much for most of us here in the United States, the way that was going. With some server issues and deployment issues and things like that. But today, the game has been up and running. And in case you have not watched, this bad boy today hit the 1.32 million concurrent player mark this afternoon. It just kept clicking. 1.32 million concurrent via Steam. That puts it all-time, already, for the highest concurrency, second.
What's
It's got
first?
a long way to go to get to number one. It's
PUBG,
base.
it was
Yeah.
like 3.5 million.
Yeah, it's PUBG at like 3.5 million. So it's got a while before it's not going to get there. It's not going to get there. But generally, we got to kind of set this. We'll talk about issues. We will. But generally, issues aside, being very well received right out of the gate here. Jason, you waited till free to play. Did you get a chance to get in at all yesterday or today with the issues?
I did get in a little bit last night. Very late last night, as Zach knows, because he was like guiding me. I was talking to him in chat, and he was telling me things, and I was trying to ask him things. So, but yeah, I played a little bit, got through the prologue, basically. I only needed 2 health potions the whole time.
That's it. There you go.
I got
2 health
gold, so I was
potions.
kinda squishy.
Now, you're not generally an ARPG guy. You're not a Diablo guy. You're not really a Torchlight guy. You know, you don't partake of those.
No.
Not that you don't like them. You just that's not your flavor. So, what are you thinking early on here so far?
Although I am a little confused. The control scheme I wish was more like Path of Exile, so that's messing me up a little bit. But
Use a controller.
maybe I might
It's
want to do
easy.
that. We'll see.
Yeah, use a controller. It's not terrible. It's better than a lot of controller implementations in there already. You may want to rebind a couple of things, but I am very much enjoying it with a controller.
Yeah, once I get over the controls part of it, I'll probably like it more.
Yeah.
It's a little difficult for me to get into right now, and I'm sort of I'm figuring out why. Even after playing like just an hour, even my hand was getting a little sore, so I can definitely tell getting that ARPG wrist again, or hand. So.
Yeah, or as like Mad Martha is saying, you just rebind everything to basically make it an MMO WASD control
I'm
if you really
considering
want
that
to.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what F1 is my potion? Come on, man.
Yeah.
I need to use Z and X in combat.
Oh,
No.
Jesus Christ.
I gotta say, I expected it to do well. I'm honestly, like, I always expected it to do well when it finally made its way west, regardless of who was publishing it or anything. I thought this is a game that's going to do well.
It looks good.
I gotta say, I am shocked it broke the 1 million concurrency. That is a big number, no matter what game it is. I'm kind of shocked that it got there. I wouldn't have been surprised at like a 3, a 4, a 500,000, kind of like Zach had said, I think this will get to at least 500,000, no problem, via Twitter. I kind of was like, yeah, I could see that. I don't think he's way off base or anything with that number. It's still a big number, an impressive number, no doubt, but I think it'll get there. It's got enough oomph behind it. When it said, I know you said 500K.
Zach,
That's
okay,
what I just said.
And I say we were going to get at least 10 players in Crusader Kings 3, 10 or more.
I know you said 500K. I was just giving you credit. A plus. But yeah, okay. I said 500K plus, so 1.3 million. I was so close. I was so close because technically it's plus.
I mean, sure, yeah.
You were not closer to the.
I would be stunned if even Zach wasn't mildly at least surprised that wow, it hit 1.3 million. And by the way, that wasn't just like, hey, it was prime time for an hour and there were a lot of people in queues and here you go. It's still at like 1.1 million as of right now. So it's pretty staggering. But that doesn't mean it's all been sunshine and roses, right? Generally, I think there's a lot of good there. There is an awful lot of good there. The cash shop doesn't bother me. You may be bothered by the fact that you can buy material or you can buy gold with your credit card and transfer it to make it gold, right? But then buy materials off the auction house and make gear and stuff like that. But it's a PvE game. It does have PvP. There is ranked PvP, but all of it's equalized anyway. So go ahead, Yod. You want to spend money on your credit card and get you gear that's going to help you out on the PvE side? Kind of like Warframe, right? Paying for platinum to kill those crafting timers or just let it tick for 2 days and go ahead and get your item.
Right. I don't think it's as bad as when Diablo 3 implemented the real money shop.
No, not at all.
That was its own kind of cluster.
It is a pretty game when you think that it is, when you think about it being on Unreal Engine 3. Like, it's on Unreal Engine 3,
Unreal
gang.
Engine 3. That's
and so
crazy.
They're basically like sitting there wringing out the manuals for Unreal Engine 3, just getting every drop of gaming juice they can from it.
Mm-hmm.
And with a rumored upgrade to Unreal 4, I think that'd just be tremendous. All in all, I'm enjoying the game, but has it all been success, Jason, or have there been some failures that not just in the game, but also in Amazon's first foray into publishing.
I don't know. Have there? All seemed good to me. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, apart from
mean-
the servers melting down on Friday.
But what game servers don't melt down on first day, you know?
The best tweet I saw about it was because they just sent out a tweet that was like, they sent one out, by the way, an hour before it was supposed to go live that just said good morning and had coffee. And then there was another one that was like, yeah, so we're having deployment issues. It's going to be a few hours.
Mhm.
And the best response I saw to that was that somebody looked at the server count to see how much it was getting pinged through Steam to try and download or log into it. And then they said somebody looked over, saw the number, looked at their manager, and their manager was like, "Nah, dog, we ain't hitting start yet. we ain't hitting start yet." I
Lost
like
characters
it
for a while.
Yes. Oh, that was funny. That was funny. I tweeted from MMO Bomb's account. That's not good. The servers did finally come up a few hours later. People were saying that they, their characters were missing. And then somebody in the Discord was like, no, that shouldn't be an issue. And like 30 seconds later, okay, we got an issue where characters aren't here. So they had to do another restart and confirmed via Twitter, your characters are here. They're just not displaying. Hold on. Give us a little bit. So, I mean, the new day, I was stunned. When I got in this afternoon, it was like 2 o'clock East Coast time, so like 11 o'clock West Coast time. I wasn't on like super early or anything. No queue. I mean, I got right in. I know some people aren't that in that situation, but considering that this damn thing hit 1.3 million, I think a mild server fire for 4 or 5 hours on launch day
Mild.
is nothing compared to some
Yeah.
of the stuff we've seen in this business, Jason.
Yeah, absolutely. They handled it well as could be expected.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't have to stop selling the game, so there's that.
Speaking of Final Fantasy, you're going to be able to link your Steam account
Yes.
soon. It's just so wonderful that we're entering 2022 at some point with that game. I love them, but I question some of their decisions. So here's the big question, though. Is this a longer term success, or is this a flash in the pan, Jason?
I think it'll be a good length success because they have a lot of content still yet to come. So they're going to keep dishing. They have a lot in there originally, and they have a lot to dish out over the next, at least year or so, probably.
Yeah, because we do have a bunch of classes to bring over. We only have part of the tier 3 stuff right now. So yeah, there's stuff from Korea they could bring over, which means it's not going to suffer the New World effect, at least not right away.
I guess if you think long term being, at least 2 or 3 or 4 years, yeah, sure, it's going to stick around that long and still be pretty popular. Not going to be 1.3 million every day, but I
Right.
think it'll stay up there like a top 10 Steam game for at least a year or two, and then maybe
So
see how it goes from there.
if you're looking a year or two down the road here, you also have to consider that right now its primary competition is basically just Path of Exile, right? That's its primary competition. At some point here, hopefully, right, in the next 2 years, it'll have to contend with Diablo 4, and then at some point in the next couple of years, it's also going to have to contend with Path of Exile 2. So while there's only one real primary competitor now, sometime in the next 6 to 24 months, it's going to get 2 more. Now, granted, one of those 2 also packages the first current challenger in it, so a little bit weird on that front.
And also just the simple point, we still talk about February. We're only on day 12 of February, and there's still
Yes.
Elden Ring and Horizon and whatever the heck else coming out. So
And March is just as busy, too, when it comes to new titles coming out. So there's going to be drain. There's going to be fall off. We expect all of that. But, Yod, 6 months from now, are we looking at a 200,000 player, concurrent player base on a consistent daily basis? Or are we looking at more or less? Keep in mind, New World has basically collapsed on itself.
Right. But the ARPG type style with the Diablo and Path of Exile and stuff does have a specific player base, and there is something to say about just going in and murder hoboing everything. it's a fun time, especially with
I guess you
friends.
could argue it kind of competes with Warframe too, as far as the loot cycle, play cycle goes. It's a
little
different
bit.
style of combat and
Right.
everything, yeah, but the gameplay loop is very similar.
Right. So I think it all depend it will depend on what else is coming out and where these players that are currently playing it fit in with that. Like, are they sitting there waiting for the expansion, the Destiny expansion to come out that they're going to play for another 2 weeks? Or are they waiting for Elden Ring to come out where they're going to grind on that for another year later? So I don't think it's going to be as high. I want to say that it'll probably drop a good third to half of its player base in the next couple months, depending on how fast people get through the content.
The thing is,
that-
I wouldn't be surprised by that. Yeah, it's a big number, right? It
Right.
lost half of its player base. Oh
Right.
no, it's down to 500,000.
Mhm.
Right.
But we still don't have any of like the real extensive end game rating content and stuff like that. So
That's the other thing is, though, how fast are people going to grind through the current content? Which a lot of people go through that stuff really fast.
there are already people
Yeah.
at 600
Exactly. So
battle rating
they're
and
going to be
everything. Yeah.
sitting there waiting for that other content to come out. And if that content doesn't come out in a timely fashion, those people are going to move on to the next game.
I'm already level 10.
Jason, you know
It's like an hour and I'm level 10 already.
You know you can be 10 in less than like in 20 seconds if you just click skip prologue, right? It will make you 10 and make you do your advanced class choice already.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch. I'm very much enjoying it. I played it for like 4 or 5 this afternoon. 4 or 5 hours this afternoon. I think I'm like 22, 23, somewhere around there. So I'm about like 12 levels off from doing the boat or getting my boat action going and exploring a lot more. So I'm taking my time with it. I'm in no rush to do anything, but definitely going to be one to watch. Watch. I am not surprised that it did well. I am surprised at exactly how well. It is, however, only day 2. So
Right.
let's temper the brakes, a little bit there.
Another server could catch fire.
Yeah. We'll see. Some miscellaneous news, gang. Put on your shocked faces. I know you're not going to see this coming.
Okay.
Rockstar is, in fact, making a Grand Theft Auto 6.
I don't believe you.
I know. I know. You thought that they were just going to milk the GTA 5 for the rest of time. Yeah, why not? It works for Bethesda and Elder Scrolls. In Skyrim. Why not? And they've certainly milked it. We talked on the Relic Grind this past week that Grand Theft Auto 5 has sold over 160 million copies across all of its iterations over the years. All of the Final Fantasy games combined have sold 164 million. So just barely beating. It's kind of staggering. Like, Grand Theft Auto is big. Final Fantasy is big. But then when you get to see exactly how big, yeah, Grand Theft Auto 5 is big enough that they went ahead and greenlighted a sequel. And yeah, it's official
Finally.
now. It's official now, gang. Epic got in on the acquisition train. They did. They acquired ArtStation.
Yeah, in April.
Yeah.
That was last year.
Yeah.
Thanks, Martha. Breaking news.
Yad, you brought an update from a thing we had from 2 weeks ago. What is this about?
But it's from comicbook.com, and sometimes they
they are a rumor
speculate
site.
a lot. Yeah, they speculate a lot. But their speculation is the Rock's video game movie was it Call of Duty? Was that what it was?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Who had
Guy,
Call
big
of Duty?
guns.
Somebody said Call of Duty
Yeah,
in our
someone
chat
did.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Which one of you said Call of Duty when we were talking about what video game movie The Rock might be working on? I know somebody said it. 100%. Somebody said it.
It wouldn't surprise me because, he matches what most of the characters
What the
in
hell
there-
would a Call of Duty movie be besides
That's-
just
yeah, that's
another
the guy shooting
generic,
things.
Yeah.
just another generic war movie?
That's pretty much what
Yeah.
it would be, yeah.
It's just like, hey, let's make Saving Private Ryan, except call it Call of Duty Saving
Right.
Private Ryan. Yeah, just like,
And-
okay.
Maybe put it into modern day or something. Maybe.
Press F for respects. Yeah.
Mm.
Havoc says, what a waste. He should do God of War.
Eh,
I don't
I
know
don't know
if I
about God of
see.
War.
I don't know if I see Dwayne Johnson as
Yeah.
Kratos.
Yeah, I don't think. I don't know about that either.
I mean, so you make his skin ash colored instead. I mean, he's got the bald. We've seen him
I'd have to
bald.
see him in a big beard. I haven't quite
yeah,
seen him
yeah,
in a
yeah,
big
yeah.
beard yet.
Well,
I mean, he's got
Need
the
for-
body for
Need for Speed. Why?
it. Need for speed.
Why?
He already did that. It was called
Yeah,
Fast and
go
Furious.
watch
Yeah, I was
Fast
gonna
and
say.
Furious. Yeah.
I still like my idea of him being in like a Detective Pikachu sequel.
I'd like to see that.
I want to see him in Kirby now. I want to see him in Kirby. Just
Dwayne
eating,
Johnson as Kirby?
he's bald. Why not?
Mhm.
Paint him pink and have him eat some cars. Why not?
Oh my
Steam
God.
is beta testing a new feature, gentlemen.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
I don't
what
get
is this new
this
feature?
because this happens to me all the time. When this has been happening for years. How big a game is before I try to install it. I don't understand this article.
I don't understand why it took them so long to do this.
They didn't. This is happening for years. I don't get it. What are we talking about?
Mike?
We're talking about Steam now letting you know how big a game is before you actually try to install it.
Okay, I go to the install and it says this will take up 20 gig of space. Okay,
Right.
so I can stay cancel at that point. So let me know before. I don't get this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now oh my
don't
God,
get it.
Mad Martha.
Oh my Lord.
Mad Martha linking in our chat. Hold on, I gotta put it up.
Oh, it's just
Oh my God.
You cannot unsee this, so I'm gonna make
What-
YouTube see it too.
What did she link? Yeah,
by the way,
I-
Martha's a he, just so you're not yod, in case you're wondering.
That I and see now the
can play
Rock.
Kirby. All right.
The Rock could definitely play. He might have to actually lift some weights for a little while. I think he needs to bulk up a bit to be Kirby. Anyway, yeah. Now you'll finally be able to see how big that game is before you click install, and it does the system read.
I mean,
Why? Chad asking why is this not a thing already? I don't know.
yeah, that
I'm
was my
honestly
question.
amazed that it's never just been part of the store page. Like, just shows.
Right. This game is this size.
Yeah,
It is.
Okay.
It is on the store page. People,
it is now.
it has been. How do you think we put that on the game pages? Then Mobomb with space required. It's always been there.
We go to the
What is-
we
I
go
don't
to the
get this.
game's websites.
No, on the store page. It has always been there since the dawn of time. I don't understand
It's
this.
not there. Bowser's going to jail though.
I don't. Yeah. Did he steal Princess Peach again?
Bowser's used to.
Isn't
going to jail.
Nintendo's CEO also Bowser?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nintendo of America. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No relation. No
Right.
relation. We had talked about on this show a Canadian going by the name of Bowser who was charged with some felonies because they was helping in a ring of people that were creating ways to hack and duplicate and do some piracy stuff with Nintendo Switch games.
Right.
Well, we had talked about that was going to court. And I believe when we talked about it, guys, he had just agreed to like the $4.5 million restitution payment
Mhm.
to Nintendo. That's not enough, though.
I was gonna say
The-
that's not enough.
Nope. The Department of Justice courts sentenced him to 3.5 years in jail. They were seeking 5, I believe. I think they were seeking
so.
5, and they got 3.5. And I don't know, like, obviously I don't feel bad for a pirate that was making a decent amount of money doing this stuff. But when you read this stuff, Jason, this Bowser here, I feel like was super low person on the totem pole in this whole scheme. and probably was not making anywhere near enough money to pay $4.5 million in restitution.
Oh, hell no.
But I feel like there were some people in this ring that maybe would have no problem paying $4.5 million in restitution, and they came down hard on the bows.
Yeah. Well, it mentions that he's only making $1,000 a month. That's what people were paying him, and the other two main people involved, are in France and China. So can't
Right.
exactly get at them as easily as you can someone in North America. Okay, don't mess with the Mounties. Got the do-right always gets his man.
They always get their man. Phil Spencer getting a Lifetime Achievement Award.
For buying companies?
Yeah, that's why.
For
They're
making
just
money.
for making money.
You have made the most money in the last 10 years or whatever. Congratulations, you get an award.
Lifetime Achievement Award at the DICE Awards, and it's going to be presented by Todd Howard, so I'm sure they will have 15 bugs going into the presentation.
Wow.
That's actually like in a couple weeks. We got to do our predictions next week. The rest
Jeez.
of them, remember?
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
We'll do a couple more of those awards predictions next week. I saw this, and I just had to, this like has no... Yeah, he does own Todd now. It's like having one of your employees come and present for you.
Mhm.
I don't think that's the right wording. He doesn't own Todd.
Well, depends on how you look at it.
I saw pictures of this,
for
and
the cost of one Bethesda, he can own me.
I saw this, and I was just like, yeah, I got to bring this to the show just to ask, what the hell is this thing? So this is designed by a former Razer designer, so no longer at Razer. It's an alt motion controller that he claims combines the benefits of a gamepad and a mouse and keyboard. And he says you might look working like these 3 analog sticks. It might like take a long time to learn how to use this thing, but he says no, don't worry about it. It actually, people can be masters at it after like 15 to 24 hours of use total.
Yeah,
Just like be an absolute master of it.
I'm not exactly even sure where your fingers go on that thing.
Yeah, I think you sit your hand on it like this, right? And so like, maybe these 3 fingers control sticks. So the way this picture is, if I like set my hand on it like this, boom, and then controlled 3 sticks, or use my thumb and pinky and one of my 3 center fingers. Like, I don't know.
If you're an alpha gamer, you use your foot. It does look like a shoe, like a shoe sole.
I thought I read under that it's similar to like the trackball.
Yeah, they're saying that 3 analog sticks work exactly like a handheld controller, adding benefit that you can use all 3 at once. Users can map whatever controls you want to the sticks, offering PC gamers hundreds of combinations, and it includes built-in analog steering wheel for driving games.
I don't know. It's just...
Did either of you read far enough in the source material that I gave you to know how much they're going to be asking for this? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
No.
Yes and no. Okay, so Jason, don't answer. How much do you think this is, Yod?
Former Razer.
Yeah, and it's not out yet. It's not actually expected to be out until late this year, but they do already have kind of an MSRP on it. It
doesn't have the Razer brand name, though, right?
No, because it's not Razer. He's just a former Razer designer.
I'm going to say 150.
That's almost like Zach saying 500K plus.
500K plus. Ninja Panda says
not double.
500. No, it's not 500. It's $250.
That was 100 off.
250
That's
bucks.
200 more than... Oh, actually, 250 more than I would pay for it.
It's one of those things that I'm like, if it was out at a con, I would definitely be like, oh, Jason, cool, let's go try this, dude. This looks neat. Let's see what it does. But I'm not buying one of these until, like, if I don't have hours of experience messing with one of these first to even determine whether I'm even remotely interested in trying to use it longer term, no.
Right. That's the problem when you come out with such bizarre new tech, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even when the Wii came out, the controller, if you turned it to the side, it still kind of resembled a classic controller. But this is just so weird.
But
All
that's
of you-
actually what I was thinking of too, Bad Asmodee, because it looks like something that would hurt my. If you don't have to move your hand, I might just be stuck there, and it's gonna be just.
Right. Right.
Carpal
Your
tunnel
hand's gonna be permanently.
later.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
gonna be permanently-
it is weird that it looks like I would have thought that it would be inclined the other way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That,
so
that
it's
your
more
hand,
like
so that your hand is inclined down.
right.
So that your arm is usually like on the arm of the chair and your hand
Right.
is slightly down. This looks like you're gonna sit there like this.
Yeah. That's. a
Notice
little
that is not how your like
uncomfortable.
ergonomic mice and stuff work. They work
Right.
the other way. So we'll see. We'll see. Hey, we were all here for Y2K. Turned out everything worked out okay.
Mhm.
But we could be looking at another potential Y2K-ish computer scare in the future, according to experts. Now, this one isn't like right around the corner because it's probably going to be another 10 years or so before we kind of start to see this technology generally available to the public. But there are experts that are worried about the quantum apocalypse, with how fast quantum computing is becoming a thing that will generally be commercially available, and how much processing power those types of units are expected and already do in some cases have, that basically every type of encryption or anything that exists right now could just be absolutely broken and destroyed by the raw computing power of these new units. So they still say it's probably about a decade before, but over the next 10 years, there are going to be nefarious actors with enough money to get these types of quantum computing units in their hands. And then, by the way, your 64-bit encryption means garbage to a computer that can parse it out, can brute force it within 40 seconds. So
Right.
be warned. Be warned. And be
I
warned,
welcome our quantum computing overlords.
you welcome them, of course. Be warned, we're about to recommend some games.
You know, have all the porn on my computer. I don't care.
Quantum needs too much an investment. A hacker is quicker and cheaper. Right now? Yes. Right now? Yes. 15 years from now? No. This Games of the Week is how we end every episode of Gaming Gumbo. What's going to happen is all three of us are going to recommend a game. Could be a video game, board game, card game, hell, whatever. Could be playing it now, played it in the past, never played it, just think you should. And you're going to let us know in the comments who gave the best recommendation. Yad, I'm going to throw it to you first.
So, I found it while I was perusing Game Pass, and I downloaded and played it. It is a game called Kill It with Fire, where
Fun
you
game.
kill
Heard of that.
spiders.
Yeah, fun game.
So, yes, Kill It with Fire. I do wish there was a nuke it from orbit option, but there is not. So,
What do you got, Jason?
Well, if Yod could spend like a month recommending Endwalker, I'm going to spend one episode recommending my expansion. So Crusader Kings 3 Royal Court, because it lets you do more stuff.
So I was going to recommend Edge of Eternity. I was looking forward to it. It was a JRPG by a smaller company. Came out this past week. It's on Game Pass if you want to check it out, which is where I checked it out. And I really was like, I want to recommend this. I hope it's good and everything. And it's not bad. I'm not all the way through it yet, but I can't recommend it. It's a buggy fucking nightmare. Literally, I had to restart the game after being 10 minutes in, because after a battle that triggered a little cutscene, it put me back on the world map area, or the area that I was walking in, and the screen was like half foggy in gray, and none of my objectives popped up. I was able to walk everywhere. There were no monsters. There was but I couldn't progress the story or anything like that, so I had to actually restart it. So I wanted to recommend that. That means instead I'm going to have to recommend Lost Ark, and that's my fallback for this week. And you know what? If I don't win, I know that 1.3 million people that don't watch this show are Lost Ark players. They're too busy playing Lost Ark to watch the show.
Well, yeah,
So
I'll
let
vote
us
for
know.
you if you vote for me, so we can just get a little.
all right.
Let me know in the comments. No stream from Torchwick after the show. We got some stuff we're going to be doing as a family tonight. So we will be back, of course, with another episode of Gaming Gumbo next Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern. For you Relic Grind fans, remember, no Relic Grind this weekend or this Thursday coming up. The live letter is Friday, and we'll be back the week after to talk about everything in that live letter. Until next time for Gaming Gumbo, though, Yad, where can everybody find you?
Yada Artworks on Twitter, Yada Artworks on Facebook, and right here on Gaming Gumbo.
Jason.
Find me on Twitter at Winter Informal, streaming at twitch.tv/Jason Winter, and happy birthday, Mike.
Ah, you son of a bitch. I'm Mike Byrne. Follow me at Magic Man 1 right there. But more importantly, follow at RC Radio. You'll know every time we go live with a podcast or one of our volunteer streamers. Stay safe. We'll see you on the surface.